What was the idea of this exhibition? Okay, so the human is one of the most important parts of your artworks.
In fact, Gaia and human.
The earth and the humanity.
In a balance. Exactly. So all of these works deal with something that deals with all of us. In fact, all of these deities somehow in some way have some interaction with us, whether we know it or not. And so I decided to figure out what the deity did with us, what they were like, and try to meet them if it was possible, basically. And it led to each one of these different expressions. Something like that.
Okay, so tell us something a little bit about yourself. So where you come from and what is your profession?
I studied medical biology. I left the United States in 1989 and sailed across the Atlantic with another man and an experimental yacht. We survived Hurricane Bertha. I arrived in Ireland and then went straight to the Netherlands to live there for 25 years. And while I was living in the Netherlands, I did journeys to India and Poland and Russia and France and Germany. And these led to great knowledge. Meeting people, understanding the planet, coming to balance with them and myself. It's a bit of a journeyman, actually.
And how you found this place?
I came, the story on that's real simple. I was totally heartbroken by a German girl. And wandering the streets trying to figure out how I'm going to pick up the pieces of my life again. Led me to the skateboard park, right next to Rue de Flora. Sort of start back at the beginning, you know, just alive, teenager. So I sat there, I started to do some drawings. And two boys came along and they took a look at what I was doing and they said, "Oh, you need to come with us." One of the kids' name was Greyhound, this big guy. And he says, "You need to meet someone." So then he asked me, "What do you think about graffiti?" Well, I'm a big fan of graffiti, so it turned out really well. So he says, "Do you know Oz?" I know Oz. So then there was a situation, well, Oz is going to jail for 10, 15 years for doing graffiti. What do you think about that? It really upset me. And that was apparently the right answer, because if you don't care about graffiti really, you don't be upset. So I was really upset at the harshness. Turns out it was just a story, fortunately. But they wanted to know you're the right guy. If I was the right guy, then I got to meet Lothar. So they carried me over here to meet Lothar, and they said, "You've got to meet this one." And sure enough, first thing Lothar began to tell me about was this great consciousness journey and travel. And fascinating. Came to one of the art expositions that night and was inspired to go over and visit Lothar the next day. And it was during that second visit that Lothar actually introduced me to a series of drawings that had the imagery that I was looking for. So the moment I saw the shapes, a bell rang. I had seen the next stage of power for real. Beyond all the deities that we know, this is something that becomes alien, in fact, truly alien. Stellar, interstellar beings, basically. So that's what those two things are on the wall. There's some kind of interstellar consciousness formed, is my best take on it. And from that, I was inspired to do all the other pieces. So whatever it is, to me it exists. This is where I really tried to sort of pick up my own style, and I was looking for a certain kind of logo or primal form to express myself correctly, a sort of power form, something simple, something elegant and beautiful. And then what I didn't realize was I had come to the primal stage and then the secondary stage, which is, in my understanding, this single line is responsible for the creation of this hat. This single set of lines here, broken, bent, creates the profiles. So this is what I call the raw power, and then this is a secondary power, the manifestation in human form. So it sort of started here at 94 in India, when I was in the mountains. I was sitting doing a sort of relax what comes to my mind, and then I began to draw a bunch of spirals on each other, and the next thing I made a few scratches on the side of a notebook, and it turns out that that was the primordial power form of profiles, at least my take on it. Yeah. And so I got this, and this is and so even though it's so simple, it's an incredibly pleasing composition that I guess if it's explained to you, you can sort of kind of see how one will turn into the other.
Okay.
That's that. And so if you can see from this point, 94, my life then developed up much more fully as a human, where I embraced all types of new concepts, ideas, parts of sexuality and humanity, where you no longer become afraid of either the penis or the vagina. It's human. Yeah? And so being able to deal with it in a balance and a love of all people, gay, straight, or trans, I'm able to enjoy working with all the various forms. And this is what I call, this image is called bukkake. The Japanese word bukkake, which was one of Cleopatra's favorite pastimes.
Okay, good.
This was the lesson from Lothar in the idea that when you go to a club, what most of us all think or understand is the DJ is going to play a number that they've chosen. In fact, what happens is the DJ has played a rhythm track that he understands everyone's going to get on. Yeah? But what happens is the DJ begins to tune to your mind. So the music that you're actually hearing is generated from your own brain. And you think the DJ is playing it that way at you. But in fact, what you've done is a kind of circuit where the DJ has tuned to your mind and creates the image of yourself to hear. This is another one, which is life and death, life and death, life and death, life and death. And each phase, the same person passes into a new phase and has a new level of ability. So this is example of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lives of the same person, repeating and in a slightly different shell each time. More able, more able, more able. This is a creative or destructive field. By the time you reach here, you're a world leader. Everything you do and say causes an effect upon everyone. It can go the opposite way, which is this is creative, and there's the opposite way, which is the same level but destructive. For example, the top of the mob, yeah, or even higher, whichever, wherever. So this is an example of how we pass through the different phases and expand in human energy and ability, basically. And the shell, then as you come up through the system, the shell opens up so that you receive more energy from, in fact, this case, from the stars. You know, and as you saw the image inside there, we're receiving large quantities of energy from starlight input. And this was something we've never really taken into account. We are created by starlight on the one side. The Earth on the other side creates an electrical field from the bottom up.
We're made of stardust.
Tiny little string and a dot. Yeah? And so this shows you the starlight entering into the main entrance and then blasting around and creating the image inside of this shell. And these shells are photons. They're little tiny balls of light. Okay.
In the end, it's all right.
What's also interesting here is this is a shell with nothing inside it. And it turns out that these shells, these shells can be controlled.
I think I'm empty. Huh? I think I'm empty. I'm only a mirror.
That
There's nothing in.
Oh, that leads right up to this image here. There's your mirror and lenses. Your universe and your inner sphere, outer sphere, and the tree of life that binds it all together.
Okay, so it's a sign, yeah. It's a real scientific work. It's not only art. It's just a mix of scientific ideas or facts.
Actually, I'm going to call it theory until it's all proven out. But what I was able to do was build on the theory. So that gives it a good chance that it's true. If you can't continue to build on a model, or the model collapses with the first question, then you have a problem with your model. What I've been able to do is take the model from that simple concept of, where's that one right here? Simple concept of a container with a single string, and expand it up into all of the methods we're communicating with each other mentally, and how we engage in power, how we change in power. So this is another example of jumping shells to become the world leader. And that all of the other dots that are here are other people who accept you as the safe one. You will guarantee survival of the species. So others collect around you. And then what happens is that when you're finally proved through, you are basically awarded the power or ability of leadership. And this is a good example of how that works level to level to level to get up there. This is the tube that goes actually inside of here, so you sort of see it's a sort of cylindrical situation. It's just a sort of concept to kind of get, it's a tube of reflection through which you go to enter this core. And what I understand is that I am the one on the inside of this core right now, and everyone else is on the outside of the core. That gives me the ability to do whatever I want to do, and I've been instructed to do everything that's positive for Gaia and humanity without a single altercation. Here's a good example of communication by way of opening your shell. You begin to think about other people. Those thought particles strike their inner bells. And those people have suddenly they have a thought about you. You know, have you ever had a thought suddenly about somebody, or just then after they call or something like that?
Yeah, I know.
This is a process. These are bells, and the bell rings. This is a female in here that is lonely and upset, and she wants her friends to come. So she thinks about everybody. What happens is her shell opens like this, and she thinks bing, 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 all these different names. Each one of us suddenly think about her. And we choose, pick up the phone, and we call her, hey, Tess, how you doing? Everything cool? Yeah, and then you come to find out, no, I'm alone, come over. Okay, be right on over. And you're right there. But this is a system of what I would call telepathy. How to explain that telepathy actually works. There's some kind of particle, thought particle that we give off that strikes the bell of another, and you think about them. So the particle is clearly defined as coming from that person. So we're talking about thoughts that move faster than light, and they strike us, and we recognize it as information and respond to another that we do not see. And this is how
we are all connected.
Yeah, all connected as well. So this is just sort of unmasking the system of thought and physical. And once we get it, there's no need for arms and military anymore, because basically this all leads to the idea, if we're this small, this is a piece of a photon. This is a photon. A photon is the smallest particle of light. And we're inside of it. We couldn't possibly kill another person. And so the conclusions here are dynamic. The entire military process is an illusion. And instead of actually killing your opponent, what you do is you push your opponent each time into a higher power level. And they go off in a separate reality that you are not aware of, but you are there also. And so what happens is the person that you knock off, they turn around and take control of you if they practice no killing. And that's the big theory in leaders: kill or no kill. When you choose no kill, the whole world goes into magic. And basically you take control of it, because others want to kill. That does not guarantee the survival of the species. And that's basically it. No kids, no killing, and respect the woman's voice.